it's a very special day for the Indian community in Norway because, as you know, we have Her Excellency Sri Pranab Mukherjee, our President of India, and his daughter, Sharmishta Mukherjee, who is with us this evening. And this is the last program of their stay in Oslo, and we thought that the best we should leave for the last, and that is with the Indian community. We're very deeply honored to have the President with us, and this visit is important for three reasons which come to my mind. First, of course, is that this is the first ever visit of the head of state from India to Norway. That itself speaks a lot for our relations as they develop between India and Norway. The second, of course, is that the President is here with a very large business delegation, educationists, vice chancellors, directors, and from our research institutions. And the third, of course, as you know, the visit happily coincided with the announcement of the Nobel Peace Prize for an Indian. So for all these reasons, if you put together, it actually is a very historic visit for Norway. And I can tell you, sir, that the community that you see here this evening is not just from Oslo. These are a community which has come from far off places just to meet you this evening and to spend some time because they believe in India. They have come from Bergen, Trondheim, Drammen, Ås, Fredrikstad, and so many other small cities to spend some time this particular evening itself. I must also mention to our Indian community that the Rashtrapati Ji is also the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces. And I've had the privilege of serving under him as Air Chief till a few months ago. And here once again I stand before you as your ambassador in welcoming and honoring the President. And on your behalf and my own, I would like to invite the President to address the gathering. But before that, a warm round of applause for our Rashtrapati Ji.
Minister of State for Heavy Industries, Public Enterprises, Government of India, Sri Rajiv Shukla, Member Parliament, Sri Anand Kumar Hegde, Member Parliament, Dr. Kirit Solanki, Member Parliament, Sri Babul Supriyo, Member Parliament, Ambassador, former Air Chief Brown, distinguished members of Indian diaspora, guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a privilege for me to be present amidst you this evening. As Ambassador Brown has pointed out, this is not only the first visit of an Indian head of state to Norway, this is also my first visit to Norway. Though I have visited some of the Scandinavian countries in my capacity as Foreign Minister or Commerce Minister or Finance Minister, I did not have the opportunity of visiting this beautiful country. During my 2-day stay in Oslo, I have a very wide range of interactions with His Majesty the King, Her Majesty the Prime Minister, and also number of government leaders, and these interactions have clearly demonstrated that our relationship has transited from the normal good relationship between two countries to synergy-based partnership relationship between India and Norway. I must congratulate you for making your own contributions as professionals working here, Southern Indian companies, other multinational companies, or also Norwegian companies. Indian diaspora has unique quality. In their adopted countries, they always endear themselves to the local people, local government, and they are never described as quarrelsome or disturbing people. For this great quality of Indian diaspora, they are contributing substantially in improving India's relationships with various countries which they have adopted as their own. Especially the Indians who are staying here are largely professionals. Quite a large number of engineers, technologists, academicians, managers are serving in various capacities in Norway. I congratulate you for not only facing the hostile climate, being too cold coming from India, but conquering them through the warmth of your heart and also making yourselves dear and very useful to the people of your adopted country. India-Norway has entered into, as I have mentioned earlier, through synergy-based partnership. I was accompanied by a large number of business delegations and academicians, vice chancellors of universities, directors of Indian Institutes of Technologies, Indian Institutes of Science, Education and Research, and also institutions of higher learning. A large number of memorandum agreements have been signed between two sides. Some of the agreements were signed in our presence, and in all these occasions, His Majesty the King, Queen, and senior officials of the Norwegian government were present. Indian scientists and engineers have got an opportunity, thanks to the cooperation and support extended by Norwegian authorities, to devote themselves in polar research. Yesterday I had the privilege of having an interaction with them through video conference, and I congratulated them that they are living in extremely adverse climatic conditions to devote in research, in scientific pursuit for the betterment of not only India but human society as such. If research in polar sciences and other related issues could find out the solutions, how to tackle the adverse climate conditions, environmental imbalances, it will not only be beneficial to India, but it would be beneficial to the whole world and human community. This knowledge-based cooperation with Norwegian academic community, universities, science organizations and research organizations are also a new dimension of our cooperation. Norway is a peace-loving country. Therefore, it is not merely symbolic that Nobel Peace Prize is decided by the Peace Committee of Oslo, and the prize is also conferred in Oslo itself, not at Sweden's Stockholm. And in this peace-loving country, your stay and contribution in its development are recognized by all. And in my interaction with the leaders of Norwegian government, I was fully convinced that they consider you as indispensable part of their society, extended society. Ladies and gentlemen, India is on the verge of emerging as a major economic power. A vast multitude of people, more than 1.2 billion in number, are determined to occupy its rightful place in the Committee of Nations as a major economic power. From the viewpoint of purchasing power parity, Indian economy today is the third largest economy. Despite the difficult situations in the last 10 years, Indian economy registered a growth, GDP growth of 7.6%. Though in the last 2 years, the growth rate has been slightly lowered because of the major international financial crisis of 2008 and subsequently the continuing Eurozone crisis. Nonetheless, the green shoots of recovery are very much visible, as we notice in the first quarter of the current financial year. Our economy has registered a growth of 5.7%. Two important segments of our economy, current account deficit, which at one point of time caused great concern to the policymakers and administrators, has been substantially controlled, and in 1 year it has been reduced from 4.7% of GDP to 1.7% of GDP. The fiscal deficit, which also went beyond the acceptable limit, has started coming down, and I have no doubt if the trend continue, by 2016-17 it will be possible for us to achieve the targeted rate of 3% of GDP. Inflation has also been moderated, and the various measures taken by the government would ensure that rate of inflation would continue to be 5% or below in the coming years. On the whole, there is a sign of optimism. Indian electorate, the largest partner of the largest functional democracy in the world, when they exercise their franchise, they give their decisions in clear, unmistakable terms. And being captive of whims and caprices for the coalition government over a longer period of time, this time Indian electorate decided to give clear mandate to a political party so that they can carry on their economic, social and political agenda and their manifesto to the extent, and they do not become the victim of the opportunistic coalitions sometimes, which were noticed in the recent past. New government has identified one important aspect, Make in India and Made in India. We are inviting investment in India which is secured, rate of return is assured, where rule of law prevails, where national treatment is extended to all participants in investment. And I am quite confident that our entrepreneurs, managers, and our skilled workforces, farmers, they are capable and competent to face the challenges. Take courage in their both hands and will lead the country towards its desired goal. We have rightly recognized that if we want to occupy our rightful place in the Committee of Nations,